Piano Video Lessons Year 1. This is Unit 2, Lesson 2, and it's video number 18 on YouTube. In Lesson 1 of Unit 2, we learned two new notes, which were D and E. And today we're going to use those notes to learn a new song called the Treble Clef Tiptoe. But importantly, before we begin, I would like to teach you about the symbols that composers use to tell you whether they would wish you to play strong or gentle. So if we play strongly, we're just using more pressure with our hands. We're allowing the keys to strike a little faster. We're getting down to the bottom of the keys in a more forceful manner, and that gives a louder tone to the notes. If we press the keys in a more gentle manner, in a slower approach, we can give a gentle or quiet sound. Now, if you're playing this on a digital piano, you won't be able to achieve soft or loud. You'll only be able to play as loud as the volume slider control button makes your instrument. But if you're playing on an acoustic instrument, you're in luck. You can actually achieve this with finger pressure. So, playing gently gives a soft sound, and playing strongly gives a loud sound. So I guess if you have a certain type of digital piano, you also can do this. If you have like a clavinova that's touch sensitive keys, you'll achieve these differences. So thumbs up if that's the case. Okay, so looking at the sheet here, you can see we have the letter F and the letter P. So F stands for the Italian word forte. And in music, we often use Italian as the language to express, because lots of this was developed in Italy many years ago. So forte is the symbol for loud, and P stands for piano, and of course I'm playing on a piano, but it's the symbol for soft. And the reason that we use this word piano in the description of playing soft is that when keyboard instruments were first invented, they couldn't play loud or soft. They could only play one level, and because they were things like harpsichords and clavichords, and they couldn't give loud and soft by changing what the performer was doing. You had to actually change settings on the machine, kind of like maybe modern day digital keyboards. But I'm just digressing here. The piano, when it was invented, wasn't called a piano, because obviously in Italian that means soft. It was called a pianoforte, and it was invented by an Italian guy named Cristofori in 1709, and he called it a pianoforte because it could play soft and loud, or soft and strong. It was a piano forte. It could do both. You could decide by the performer. So these words mean piano and forte, and that's why we call this a piano today. We shortened it up. Like a saxophone is often called a sax. We don't usually call this a pianoforte anymore. We just call it a piano. And so when we look at the piece of music, if we're looking for these symbols, they're called dynamics. That's the general term we use for anything that tells us how loud to play. So these are just two of the dynamics. They're the main two. We can have variations on these, and we'll learn about those later. But for now, anytime you're looking for dynamics, you're not going to look above the staff, and you're not going to look below the staff. You're going to look in between the treble staff and the bass staff. So right in here, it starts off with P. And it's going to stay piano. It's going to stay playing softly until it changes. So here it changes to forte. You see an F. So these last two measures of the piece are going to be played strong. So that's always the case. If you see a dynamic symbol, you stay with it until you're instructed otherwise. And so in this case, we have most of the piece played quietly. And I called this piece the Treble Clef Tiptoe because we're going to tiptoe quietly as we play these notes. So let's have a look at the notes. There's some instructions here at the bottom. We're just going to go through the steps. It says to name each note. So here we have C, D, E, F, G, and then back down. F, E, D, and then back up. C, D, E, F, G, G, G. If you have trouble with any of these notes, you should definitely go back and review your flashcards. Now, here we have coming down G, F, E, D, and then from C we're going up. C, D, E, F, and here we have 4 Gs and finishing with C. Number 2 says circle the dynamics marks. So I'm going to circle P and I'm going to circle F just to draw my eye to it. And now I'm going to clap and count. So here this is nice and straight ahead, counting to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, next it says to try the fingerings. So we're looking at starting off with finger 1, and we're walking up each finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back, down we go, back, up again, and then 5, repeat 3 times. Now we're still on G, so we're going to still play our 5, and we're going to walk, down, 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 and walk, back, up again, G 4 times, and thumb at the end, C. All right, so my fingers know what they're doing. I know what notes I'm supposed to play, so now I can get ready and play. So I'm going to put my finger 1 on middle C, right here. I only need the right hand. You see a bunch of rests here in the left hand. So now I'm going to play this piece while observing the dynamics. So here I go. So did you hear me get louder here in the last 2 measures? Great. So when you play this piece, it's important to listen for the loud and soft strength that you're using. It'll take some getting used to. Sometimes you'll play too softly, and this will happen. So that note didn't make a sound at all because I didn't press it with enough strength to get it all the way to the bottom of the key. And it's also a very good idea to make sure that your fingers are touching the keys before you strike the note. So to play quietly, you're really just moving the weight and your finger is sitting on the key, and then to play stronger, you're adding a bit of actual extra strength behind those notes with your arm, pushing more of your arm weight into those fingertips. So you can think of hand weight to play piano, and then when you're getting to the forte, you're going to add some of that weight from your arm coming down from your elbow and your shoulder into the fingertips, and that will give you a faster approach into the keys, and it'll give a stronger sound. All right, so this was lesson 2 on dynamics, and in lesson 3, we're going to do some sight reading and some clapbacks. So check that out, and come on over to pianovideolessons.com.